Welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Nerd.
And welcome to episode 288. Today we're going to be talking about your tabletop painting area and you. Most likely we're going to be talking about like how to set it up, what to do with it, what works for you, lighting, chairs, desks, everything we can talk about from the floor to the ceiling on everything, and maybe helps people kind of figure out how to do it. But before we do that, we got to get to the business, as John always tells me. We want to thank Creature Caster for supporting our channel. Make sure you go check out their Evening Art of Michael. Check out their My Mini Factory Tribe, where you can get not only a cool 5th edition module, but some miniatures to go with the module and some other cool things. And also check out their store, where you can check out Judgment models and miniatures and play that game, which is a lot of fun. And they're doing some new cool stuff coming out pretty soon with that. And also all their just cool miniatures, period. Also Midnight Heroes, makers of awesome chibi models, and then also chibi miniature game. Go and check them out, hang out with them. You'll be seeing them, I think next trip is going to probably be ReaperCon, as their next one. We want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting our channel, providing all their masses. They're there for good widgets and other products that they have out there for tons of different games. They're bringing out some new products pretty soon. I'm going to thank Parabellum War Games, makers of Conquest. Conquest is doing a lot of change-ups right now. Not anything bad or good or anything, just providing like different buy-ins for different points levels, trying to help people get stuff in.
Well, their main competition just suddenly came back from the dead.
Yeah. Old World.
Yeah, the Old World, Warhammer.
Yeah. So they're trying to get it in there, and their miniatures are great. I mean, everybody's that's seen their miniatures know they've done some resculpts of some stuff, and I think they're gonna have a new army coming out pretty soon, which will be interesting to see. I know I'm looking forward to their new Spire faction they got coming out, which is going to be like forest or dryad based or whatever. Which would be interesting. I want to see what it looks like. I mean, their sculpts are all kind of weird when it comes to that stuff, so we'll just wait and see. We want to thank Turbo Dork for being awesome and providing quality metallic and turbo shifting paints.
Those new bottles are hype. Those are great.
Yeah, they for if you didn't know, they're redesigning their entire bottles, and they do look familiar for people that know. They took the vape juice bottles and reconfigured them for paint, and
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who all it is that they worked with on it, but they've got it reconfigured, and it's supposed to not let it dry out. It's supposed to got a good flow, so on and so forth. So
Good to know. Good to know.
They'll be at Adepticon in the next couple of months, and I'm not sure if they have the new bottles there or not. I wouldn't be surprised.
You can see them on their Facebook page. I've seen a bunch of pictures of them recently.
So they'll probably have some there, and I'll probably pick up a couple, at least a few to test out and try of colors I don't have.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, because if those bottles work out and they're quality bottles and they're quality, storage, you might see a shift in people doing dropper bottles, because some of these dropper bottles are pretty crappy. So.
Yeah. I would say there's a whole range of they're all a little different too nowadays, which is getting a little weird.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we got plenty of time. I think that's it. I got everybody. So, if you weren't on the pre-ramble, we had a few announcements. We've got some new things coming out from More Than Dice. We have another podcast that's going to be joining underneath us that will be hosting their stuff from a prominent miniature individual, which we cannot wait to put their podcast on our network. It's just going to be the audio stream. They'll be keeping their own video. We have a new intro and outro being designed and written and composed. This guy is actually a professional voiceover He's actually done some stuff that you might have recognized, but I chose this guy because he was reasonably priced and he was pretty cool. We are working on a web page and trying to figure out if it's going to be something we want to try and do. Type thing. I mean, they're not too expensive for a web page, but we want to make sure that it's worth our time and effort to put out a web page.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some, if you see myself or Nerd at Adepticon and you show us that you are either a follower on Facebook or a follower on Twitch or a Patreon subscriber, you will get a new More Than Dice sticker. But you got to show it to us. If you catch me once and Nerd once, hey, you can get two. I don't care. But we'll be giving out stickers at Adepticon. I just ordered some new ones. They should be here next week. And we'll be giving them out at Adepticon.
Don't forget Mizzy.
We don't have enough for Mizzy. Mizzy's got to...
She is so going to kick you in the shin.
So, which we actually do have something pretty funny on the intro about Captain Mizzy. So, I made sure that was put in there.
It's entirely possible, Cookie. Depending on the weather, we could get some, parking lot grill going.
Last year was horrible for the weather.
Oh yeah, last year was literally walking into Barovia.
Yeah. Cookie, are you going to be there at Adepticon? So, while we wait for Cookie to answer because of the lag and everything. But we'll just have some cool stuff. There's some changes coming More Than Dice. We're going to put a little bit more effort into it, into the channel. I'm going to be doing a little bit more streaming. I'm just trying to figure out a good solid day. It'll be, after 9. Oh, that stinks, Cookie. Maybe you can convince Nerd to, send you a sticker. But we're going to do a little bit of change up, put a little bit more effort into the channel, doing some cool things, kind of branching out. I got to figure out what day I want to stream, so I'm going to try to stream once a week, mostly for painting or just maybe some playing Final Fantasy. Just depends on what it is. Type thing. I think that's about it. Some cool stuff coming on. Got any shout-outs this week, John?
Obviously, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, which was interesting. I was looking on there to see if he had cancer or or something. He got into a wreck. It was just he passed away in his sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 76. Yeah. Nothing. There was no big thing. But as that came across, I was like, man. I mean, he was a Mandalorian recently. That was what he got. I wouldn't say re-famous, but brought him back in the spotlight. Was his role in Mandalorian?
Because he hadn't been in much since.
No. But it was really good.
Roles.
Yeah, it was really good and really fun. And we'll have to see, what other things, because there was an actor that passed away recently that was in Percy Jackson, and then the ending of that, he plays Zeus in Percy Jackson. It was I know I'm running blank on it. Black guy. Shit. We're gonna be
the one from John Wick.
And as soon as I say it, you're going to be like, you're an idiot, Gonzo. I'm like, yes, I know. Lance Riddick.
The one from John Wick.
Yeah, Lance Riddick. Nobody can't hear you, by the way, if you're talking.
Yes.
He was in Percy Jackson, and it was a good. They attributed the thing, but going back and looking through, I was looking through Carl Weathers' IMDb. And, he had some small roles here and there and everything, but, Rocky series is, I remember him from a lot. and then Predator, and then Mandalorian, and then of course Action Jackson.
Talk about more of that later.
Yeah, because some of us did watch some movies with him in it, just to kind of remember that man, because it was, I think that one of the best tributes I saw was the handshake grip with Sylvester Stallone, and it was Sylvester Stallone's hand.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or was it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, from Predator. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it was a ghost
The
hand.
other action hero.
Yeah. And then it was the ghost hand, the ghost arm of whatever, and it was like the tribute to them, and I thought that was kind of sweet. But big shout out to him. He was part of some of our childhood, and like I said, it's the Rocky definitely, because Rocky 1 was when it came out. And in that episode, big spoiler, Rocky doesn't win the first one. That was kind of big, shake up. What? He's supposed to win. He's the star of the story. And I was like, well, that's not how life is.
Wait, he was in Arrested Development?
Yeah.
I don't remember him in there at all.
Yeah. Well, he did like a lot of small roles also in between
he did
everything.
a lot
yeah.
of TV and everything. Like I said, we'll talk more about this in the media section.
But so Carl Weathers. John, what are you drinking tonight?
I have a Code Fireball.
Okay. Nerd?
Malibu and Sprite with lime.
Malibu, Sprite, and lime. That actually seems pretty decent. I'm doing the good old,
Nice and light.
Water. Some good old H2O. I'm doing a bit of, cleansing and getting into the healthy spirit. If you're on Facebook, I created a small group of people just to talk about, eating healthier foods and stuff. So just kind of doing my part right now. With my medication and everything that I have to do. So you can see all the stupid shit I am eating. So guys, as usual, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, do something. And if you can't do something, find someone who will, because we need to start looking after each other more now than ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers.
Cheers. To Carl and Lance.
Oh, shit, yeah. Just a perfect amount of H2O in that water. Just totally quenches me. I love when my podcast members just cringe at the smallest little stupidest shit.
You'd think we'd be used to it by now.
Nope. Even Nerd, still kind of new with us comparatively. John just is like, fucking A, did he really just say the amount of H2O in my H2O is good?
Look. It's not the stupidest thing I heard all week by a long stretch. But
Oh, no. What was the
sure.
stupidest thing you've heard so far this week, John? I'd love to hear that, because our viewers would love to hear that, too.
Well, I got to find it, so I sent it to you guys. Some guy on Twitter, and Gonzo thought it might be a joke. It's not a joke. I've already blocked him on Twitter, apparently long before I saw this. He said, Rage Against the Machine and The Green Day have sadly abandoned their core conservative values and Christian messages in favor of woke tomfoolery. Which, I mean, it's hard to get dumber than that.
Yeah. And my response was, if you haven't listened to Green Day or Rage Against the Machine, tell me you haven't listened to them without telling me you haven't listened to them.
Exactly.
I'm going to switch over. I'm going to switch over to the paint cam while we get. I'm really flabbergasted because I think there was also someone else that had done something similar. Had said something similar, and I was like, when did Rage Against the Machine become so woke? And I was like, and political.
As soon as they fucking started?
And political. That was the other
Like,
thing too.
Did you think the machine they were raging against was a printer?
A fax. It was a fax.
Fuck. No, it's the machine. That's why it's Rage Against the Machine, not
I
Rage
am the
Against
machine.
a
They're
Machine.
raging against Bert Kreischer.
That's it. We solved it. Rage Against Bert Kreischer. Oh my gosh. He wronged them in Russia, and now they made a whole career out of it.
Yeah.
I reviewed that when I saw that, right?
Yes.
I remember that being an early watch when I joined.
Yes.
Yes. Long live Mark Hamill.
Long live Mark Hamill, indeed. The best Joker.
Oh,
Hands
hands
not
down.
at me.
Yeah.
That came through Twitter too. Someone's like, "Which of these is the best Joker?" And I'm like,
Where's
"These are all
Mark
the
Hamill?
live action ones. None of them."
Yep.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's voice for the Joker is just
So I will say, I
chef's
feel like
kiss.
the Joker is one of the best represented roles because everyone brings their own thing to it, and each one
Mhm.
is different. It's not like you get someone trying to do someone else who did the Joker. They're all doing their own thing. Even Jared Leto, who people hate. I'm like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's a different take on it. I'm not going to get upset. I don't care.
Okay.
Sure.
I got better things to do than worry about that.
Much better things.
Like giant chickens and frogs from the abyss. They're scary as shit.
Those are not things that I have to worry about.
Oh, sorry, I do.
The fuck you talking about, guys? What have you been smoking?
So
Snorting, smoking, inhaling, whatever.
drinking, worshiping.
That dihydrogen monoxide.
Well, you know that stuff. If you get it in your lungs, it'll kill you.
Yeah, I agree, Mizzy. I agree.
Oh, what is she blabbing about? Oh, whatever.
You.
Whatever. So, one of our listeners just recently moved and is setting up their hobby area and trying to get, everything settled. So I thought this would be a good subject to try to help that person out so they know, what they can do and how to do it and, what could help them out. So let's start with one of the most important things that you need at your hobby area, and that's a good chair. I don't care what anybody says. If you have a shitty chair, you're not going to want to paint, and you're not going to want to sit down at your desk for, hours or whatever.
I
But on
sat
the
on a
helpful
stool
side-
for a year and a half before I got a real chair again.
Yeah. But on the helpful side, if you do have a bad chair, you're best to hobby in smaller chunks.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not, move around a bit. I have that sometimes, way back in the day when I had my, sciatica nerve acted up, I had to change, I had two things I could do. I could sit in a single position and not move, which is not necessarily conducive for painting, depending on where you're sitting. Or I had to move around a lot. So you'd come and do a little something, then walk off and do something else, just trying to keep yourself from settling the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it is very important. And they're not expensive. I mean, my mom got me this chair that I now have for Christmas. It's under $100.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to spend, $500-$600 gaming chair,
Yeah.
of the decade. You need something that has got good cushion for your ass and can help you with your posture.
Yep. I mean, you can use whatever, but if it works for you, it works for you. But just when you get it, make sure you start arranging your hobbying around your chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But making sure that you have a good, solid place to sit and it's, not going to ruin your posture or ruin the way you sit and stuff is very, very important.
Yeah, having good proper back support is good because, I mean, you're going to lean over for the miniatures occasionally anyway, so you might as well have something that can support you otherwise.
Make sure you've got good lighting where you are as well.
You could have the light of the sun like John has.
Hold on. Light of the sun.
I'm waiting for the cringe. There it is. It burns.
I'll be honest. So I had an old desk lamp that was bright, with the magnifier in the center. Great. Cheap option is great. Had it for years and years, used it. Amazing. I still use it for action figures now, but this one from Red Grass Gaming,
Yes,
was is really great. I love the way each arm of it can move. It's very bright, and you can control the brightness, but like you can do a lot with it. And since it moves in multiple directions, you can get that light right where you need it, so it's not burning out your eyes, or you're not hitting your head on it while you're leaning over miniatures and coming back up.
Or hitting your, or yeah, not hitting your head, or like if you've got one that's too low, like I hit my brush, the end of my brush on it all the time.
Yeah,
or I end up painting the magnifier. You have to clean it off.
Or you have a camera sitting in the way.
I mean,
too.
If you have a camera or if you're looking to paint and have a camera pointing down, there are cameras that can help with that. I might suggest the Razer Kiyo because it has a light circle around it. Therefore, you're getting extra light. And maybe you don't need the light of the sun on top of that. Maybe your ambient light plus that would be enough for you to do what you need to on a stream.
And if you want to stream,
spoiler, that's what I have.
Yeah, get something with a manual focus as well, if you can, because autofocus does not like to focus on minis.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Yep.
It'll be like, oh, look at your hands. Look at those nail beds. Oh, my.
Technically speaking, the old standard Logitech, you can bring up the software and have it around so you can change it. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's
what I got.
Next thing is, so none of us keep our painting areas clean.
No.
But I think the next most important thing is not actually have to do with the painting area itself. It has to do with your storage around it. Where you're keeping your paints, where you're keeping your tools, where you're keeping all that stuff so it's in arm's reach. You don't have to stop and go. Yeah,
we do have a Discord.
Yeah.
Let me get you the link for that.
Not super active right now, but you know, we get busy. We'll come in spurts. There'll be a bunch of stuff, and then we'll all just go do other stuff. But your
they can
storage
do
area is
point
important.
Discord, and it should be good.
Captain Busy just did.
Thank you.
But yeah,
I wasn't sure if we had that command set up or not.
Yeah.
So my hobby, you can't see, but my hobby section is literally right over here to my right. And underneath the desk, because I have an L desk, there is that 3-stack, plastic drawers that I put a lot of tools and stuff in. So easy access. I don't have to get out of my chair. I can grab them all. Then you guys can sort of see over here. I got paints here and here. So all I have to do is turn around and start looking for paints. And then behind me, as you guys can occasionally see, I've got drawers where I put, hey, look, there's a bunch of models and extra headphones. There's more models in here with the Urban Mech. There's more models in there. There's models everywhere.
Herbies.
Yeah.
But
or if you're like me and you have to move your paints every time, I've got nice document tubs work great, and they're cheap.
It depends on how you move them. Like, that's great because it seals, so like if it flips over, no big deal. But like I get stuff in these, so I just put stuff in these little things, so they're move them out of the way.
Move.
Yeah, whatever works for you, however you decide you want to organize your space.
It's also good to make sure that these drawers don't flip over when I pull out the paint things, because it keeps them stable, because that makes it exactly the right size. You can say a lot for all this prepackaged stuff, but sometimes it is what you make of it, Mm-hmm. If it doesn't fit, make alterations. It's got to work for you. You can get ideas from everyone else. That's why we're trying to keep our ideas general. Like, hey, this will help you, this will help you. But you got to make it work for you. Stuff's got to be where you can grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Boy says, I need to get rid of the bed, and that creates another problem where to sleep. Yeah, I know that feeling. I have, I jokingly mentioned the Murphy bed, the one that, folds up and folds down. They make those that are just freestanding. You just put it, it's great if you've got limited room.
Yeah.
What else?
I also do, so for storage of paints, me, I have, I 3D printed racks for myself. But
you also have a plethora of space.
Correct. I do have a plethora of space.
You also have a lot of paint. How many different paint lines do you have there? I'm counting at least 5.
I have
my
Scale
things.
75, Two Thin Coats, Cuttlefish, Turbo Dork. My contrast paints are over here. But what I was trying to get at is I have everything that I use all the time right in front of me. Now I have to reach over because my lighting is a different lighting than everybody else's. I built my own Halo
That's-
rig.
That's what I want to get. What did you
Hey, Xander
build
Blower.
yours out of?
What I did is I found a good, the good LED strips, and these are just aluminum things that I found like $2 at like Office Depot, and I built, I bent them into the shape. Did I don't know if you can see it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
You
there's
got the
a
crisscross there.
yeah, it's
Yep.
crisscross, but I took and
Jump,
made
jump.
a foot on each one of them, and then Velcroed that foot to the table.
Ah.
So it's
Okay.
it's more stable. It doesn't like move around.
Yeah, I've seen so many different variations of that. I was just curious how you built yours.
Yeah, and this only cost me probably like $20.
That's not bad at all. I was gonna say, yeah, that's the nice thing about LEDs. They're not expensive.
Yeah, and it was just a simple, bend the arch into the shape I wanted, and then the LED strip has got a sticky back on the back of it, so you just put it on there, and then it hangs off to the side, and I turn them on and turn them off. So I mean, no issue there. I mean there's alternatives. Like John's lamp is amazing.
It is. It was also not cheap.
Correct. That was my point. I mean, I've been trying to find a good light source for painting miniatures for a long time. And like John's lamp, awesome. I just couldn't afford it when it came out because I knew it was a Kickstarter thing.
Mm.
And so I was like, and I had already built this, so I wasn't too bad
Let
with
me
it.
suggest something else too, and this is not necessarily part of your desk, but having one of these, I can't put it on with my
Yes.
headphones. The light here is actually really useful.
Oh, the goggles.
Because, like, honestly, my ambient light with this is enough to paint by. And I have to use the magnifier to paint because my eyes are fucking terrible. Those are better if you can find a good one. The ones I found were all cheap.
Nerd,
and
which one do you have? Which one are you showing?
They're more glasses-like. They go over
yeah,
your...
yeah. Mine is the like headband that wraps around. It's not the all the way around like yours, but
Yeah, so, hold on.
it's they've got clip-on interchangeable lenses.
Yeah, so I had some of those. Like these. This is great. You can layers and everything. It's just that it keeps breaking.
Now, how are those to wear with glasses on?
These were fine to wear with glasses on.
Okay.
I mean, they're even fine to wear. These are even fine to wear with, my headphones on over them. So it's just that they're cheap. These were like maybe $10. So, and you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And the problem is like obviously this part is the weak joint, and if that breaks, they're worthless.
Mine doesn't even have that. I've just got like little fold-up ones.
Well, yeah, so it has the folding ones, but it also they come off to put the band on if you want to use that instead.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used those for a bit, but got sick of replaced them, so I bought the better one. Well, I can't wear my headphones with the better one. I can use earbuds, or I can just put on my speakers, and it works.
Nice.
But yeah, that's an important thing. Like if you're light, you have to find what works for you and what you can afford. If it's just like the cheap 20, even those $20 ones, chargeable light, LED, good enough for a whole painting session, just charge it after you're done. And, maybe if you're not as big a head as I am, they'll last longer.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a little clumsy because of lack of depth perception. So,
Xander, you're not wrong.
Baker's Rack
Baker's racks are a great solution in terms of like vertical storage to keep things dry. Either a speed rack or a Baker's rack. If you can find like I used to have a speed rack, which are normally you can find in like bakeries and stuff like that. It's similar to a Baker's rack, but it's the one that you just put trays on. It doesn't have its own shelf, so you can space them out however you want.
Mhm.
If you can find one of those on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that, they're not terribly expensive and they hold up really well.
I think honestly that the biggest issue might be space for them. That's always my problem with stuff.
Yeah.
Space for stuff.
Space is always going to be an issue. That's the reason why a lot of people kind of mount them on the wall, or
Oh yeah, like that's one of the things I look forward when we finish getting drywall and stuff up in the studio here is getting an actual display case to put some stuff in so that it's closed and not getting dirt from all the cars.
Yeah, not getting all the dust in the universe.
Yes.
All the dust in the universe. Oh my
all
God.
the dust. I mean, they already accumulate all the cat hair, so adding dust to that.
Need to invest in compressed air. There you go.
I had some. I need to go open another one.
Yeah, I need to order some more. We ordered a bunch a while back, but I use them when models are sitting for too long. Also, when you're cleaning off your area, and there's another thing, once in a while you have to clean up your area.
Oh yeah.
I would suggest, like, if you get done a batch of models, if you get that perfect stopping point where you can have all your models done or most of them at once, move the one or two you're still working on the side, and just clean up your whole area. Put the paints you need in one spot so you can put them back afterwards, because we all keep the paints we're using on our current projects out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what we do. Do that thing, and then you can clean up the whole thing, wipe it down. There's a bunch of extra accoutrement you can get. My buddy Bowie, sometimes watcher, got me it's like a no-stick silicone-ish, not quite silicone, but like matte. Like glue won't stick to it, paint won't stick to it. It's just not good for putting your files or knives on. You can't cut on it because it's not good for that. But that combined with a standard, cheapo cutting board you get from, whomever. Army Painter has a bunch too, with their whole thing.
Oh yeah, you can go to Joann Fabric and get one of their
Yeah, just a cheap cutting mat.
Yeah.
And then you need to make sure you start putting stuff where you can get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just think. And Adam Savage had a good note when he talked about where he puts all of his tools. First thought, best thought.
Yes.
If you always reach one place for an item, put it there. Like
my husband will never understand.
Well, it's like if you're like, oh hey, I need to put my clipboard out of the way. Like I need to put my my little book with my painting recipes somewhere. Literally, I have just some space at the bottom of the desk and the top of my 3-rack.
I need to actually start writing down my paint recipes.
Because I forget sometimes. Remember that whole note with Valkyrie, no idea what color painted her legs, couldn't find that color. Fuck, guess I'm painting nothing else. Just having something just for little stuff, not like a huge bit. I just put little notes of like, these are how I do for the bases. This is what I do for this guy's base. Or if I do a certain thing again and again, I just put it in. You can even necessarily take one where you make a mix of paint. You put a little splotch of it there so you can see what it looks like more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know people with like Citadel or some of the other ones will like paint the top of the bottle so they remember what color it is. If depending on how you have it stored, if you're not able to like see the side of the bottle and everything, you're just seeing the top paint. Do a little paint swatch on the top so you can see what.
That's a good time saver. And people do it on these bottles as well. Where those paint the little top cap here or circle.
Exactly.
If you can't see it a lot, it'll say it's a good time saver for that stuff. A lot of it becomes sorting stuff so you need it. Gonzo got me a MDF cut brush rack that I can actually think I can grab. I just need to find a place to grab it from.
I've got my little paint puck that I use to hold my brushes.
And this works really well, Put a bunch of brushes in it. It doesn't take up a lot of space because they're standing straight up. And you got a hobby tool, like I've got a Sculpey tool here in the back. Just make sure that you have it in a spot that's not going to get hit and not going to fall or not get in your way.
So I've started using something with my hobby space that say you don't want to have to use your paint rinse water for like thinning out a paint or something like that. These bottles you can get cheap on Amazon. They're like, yep, that works too. A little squeeze
Yep.
bottle. Yep, little squeeze bottle of water.
Yep.
Save you a lot of headaches.
Well, I have a couple different ones. I use that for that. I'll have this for washing out brushes that are something strange. And then my favorite for actual paint water is these.
Oh, brilliant.
What is
Just a
that?
They don't
Mason
necessarily
jar.
close as well, but they close well enough that keeps it from drying out too much. And if you're not using it, like this is my metallic one. If you're not using it, you have a cap on it, so you don't actually put it in the wrong one. So a lot of little tools like that. Figure out what works for you.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I know a lot of people use the little Pop-It fidget toys. We've got our Turbodoric silicone dry palettes, but I know a lot of people have taken to using
Well, I still use regular palettes occasionally too. Some things
Yeah.
that's not. But just, my tip for these, and I've said this a couple times, is don't use anything that's abrasive on it because you're going to cause problems. And if you can't get the paint off, just put a little PVA glue on it, let it dry, then peel the whole thing off.
I never thought about that. I always just soaked it in alcohol.
That'll work too, but I just put a little PVA glue on it, water it down, thickness of maybe melted ice cream-ish. Let it go, dry, then you can peel the whole thing off. Almost all of it comes off. Job's a good one.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I keep a couple of those, and like little stuff, whatever you want. The whole tile, people use just a porcelain tile, like people use in the bathroom. Great.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of places use those. Whatever you can find. I mean, when you go out to places, look for whatever they have. I've got, still sealed just in case I need it. I've got another little palette from Games Workshop back in the day.
Yeah.
All these little things, but then make sure you put them in a spot where you can find them.
Yes.
I harp on it a lot. The storage area around your hobby station is going to be important because you got to be able to grab the stuff. And I know having all these
and do it without knocking half of it off of your space.
Oh my god, yeah. Sometimes I reach across and something gets knocked over and I just get angry. And there's no one to blame but my damn self.
Yup.
So that's why I went to the paints behind me. This whole thing here. Some of them you can set up like, now obviously this isn't ideal because it's bigger than that, so I just throw them in there. But if you can find something the right size, just put that there. Just wherever you can do it. Shelves, like these shelves, super cheap. A whole lot of stuff. Obviously, I've got crap all through here. Not even super efficiently. And then, have extra things like this. This is my go bag when I go hobbying, but also in it I have my stuff for painting and all, because I put my pin vices and all the stuff in my little bag here that zips up.
Oh, yeah. Those are great. Little pencil bag.
Yep. And since the pencil bag, it's made to not get poked through easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put it, you zip it up, pull it out when I need it. Just having that stuff, and it's handy, so I can get whatever I need it. Also throw some extra stuff in there. You never know, I might need other things.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a go bag for Adepticon.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, we had one that they were working on, but we haven't heard from them in a very long time, so that one's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, these things evolve. And, we spend so much time focusing on the painting. Sometimes we need to stop, take a look back, and make sure we're taking care of the air around us, because you're spending 15 minutes tearing up and breaking, tearing up and closing down before and after each session. That's not terrible if you're doing like 3 or 4 hour session. But if you're John and you're doing it 30 minutes at a time or so, that would be horrific. So it's all there, so I can just move stuff out real quick, boom, and put it all back. If I had a good camera, I could take a picture of that. I could take a video of how I do that. But, and the stuff you find you need. I cannot mention enough notepads. Little notepads like this are stupid cheap. And they're great for notes of stuff like, oh, what do I need? I need this thing. So if you find you need something, write it down. When you go to order something, you look like, no, I don't really need that. And then you're like, oh, wait, I do need that, and check it.
Yeah.
This thing's got 3 check marks. I fucking need to buy this.
Or if you're like me and constantly losing said notebooks, Google Keep or things like that are also great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you've got a smartphone that'll take voice, it'll do that. Mm-hmm. you know, there's a lot of attention to detail you can do in how you are hobbying that will help you. It'll help make efficient use of your hobby space because we don't all have hobby space. Like theoretically, I mean, there's 2 empty rooms in this place. You know, Banyan is in the basement, and we got 2 extra rooms, so I could spread out. Like you see action figures here, like, oh, Don's got action figures. Like, this ain't shit. I have a whole another folding table that I use for working on action figures with light box and everything in another room. You know, that's, you just got to figure out what space. Like, but like this, you know. So I've got this whole thing here, so we got all this here, so it became the perfect place for this display. And maybe have a miniature display and put some miniatures there. You know, just something there. It's make the use of the space. Vertical is good. Whatever you can step on top, you know, put on top of something.
And what did you make the building out of? Is that just cardboard?
This
Paper? Yeah.
No, I bought this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you.
No.
Here, I thought you built it.
No. NECA made it. I'm pretty sure. I bought it for like, I don't forget what it cost, but worth every fucking penny. But you can do that if you make something out of cardboard or wood or whatever. You can do that.
Yeah.
And if you're doing miniatures, you know, these things. Hold on, I've got 2 separate ones of these. Well, 3 technically. Dowels or whatever for putting miniatures on. These are great for taking miniatures. Like I used to take these on the go. They'll sit like in like the footwell of a car and not move around too much. So something pretty good. Also, I have an old cooler bag. I can put this in the cooler bag, so nothing kind of hits it there too.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen the one with the dowels, but I used before I got hobby handles. I just used like old pill bottles.
Yeah.
Prescription.
Those
bottles.
will work.
Yeah.
I like the dowels. Obviously, I mean honestly.
Yeah.
These are really good if you've got the models that'll fit on them.
Yeah.
But if not, the dowels or whatever, just with, you know, blue tack on them. Look at, we got some sponsor miniatures here. There's just blue tack on the bottom. And when it's like this, that goes underneath the lip, because I'm not going to pull it up. All right, so here you go. Oh my God, look at all the blue tack in that spot that no one cares about. Who cares? You can get out what you can get out. You can clean what you can clean. And it'll be all good. Just remember the blue tack does melt eventually in the heat, especially if you're buying the cheap shit. So, you know, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Waste of experience. You know, it's why I've got certain ones where like it's running down the side and it's just been sitting on the top. So I would say as a hobby tip, don't buy cheap blue tack. Buy good blue tack.
Yes. Get the good blue tack.
And even though it's very good quality, if you're using it for miniatures, not hanging posters, do not fucking buy Elmer's orange tack.
Yeah.
That shit is great for posters and shitty for miniatures.
I think I got the white 3M sticky tack, and that stuff's not any better.
It's the opposite. It doesn't stick to fucking anything.
Yep.
It's great for like when your models are only assembled and you need to have your riders fit on the cavalry and not fall off the horses. It was great for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of little things you can do and, you know, add to your hobby accoutrement that makes things easier. You got to find out what you can get. Most of the stuff we've recommended, aside from the Light of the Sun, the most stuff I have is not expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I would say if you were to spend a lot of money on one thing, the Light of the Sun's definitely been worth it so far.
Good lighting. I could see paying more for good lighting.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even have to go that far. Like, literally, I bet on Amazon you can find a good LED light that's got a magnifier in the center. And even if you're wearing the magnifying thing, that magnifier helps also because it's another avenue for you to magnify something. It's a different view. And you get used to painting underneath it. I painted underneath it for years. My stepfather had one that I borrowed from him for years and years and years. And when I moved out, I'm like, shit, I need another one. And we got another one. And it's great. Like I said, it sits in there now for working on action figures. And for those of us with glasses whose eyes are going to shit.
But that's the one thing that I could understand you spending a little bit more money on, because that changes up everything.
Yes, interval, two good cheap lights of the same brightness from two angles work, but you're going to have to be consistent with that because otherwise you're going to change the way it looks as you turn the model. So I've got, I don't know if you guys can see this one. You can see this one. There's a light right
that's
here.
kind of like what I've got. Yeah.
So
Killing me, Smalls.
yeah. So it's an extra light. It clips on. I can move it wherever. It's USB. Has to be near something. I use that for working on stuff right here. But I used to have it over here to shine on there, but the light of the sun makes it unnecessary. But I used to use that to get just extra light on a certain way. You can do that. There's a lot of, like I just said, lighting is important. It is something you could spend extra on. Just, you got to budget for what you can afford.
Yeah.
And you can't discount how much lighting helps.
And make sure you get a white light versus a warm light because it's going to affect the way that colors look while you're painting.
Yeah, soft white, not best.
Yeah. Daylight.
Yeah.
Comes at me when I go home.
That's where I went to.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch.
Daylight, go man, you want go home. Thanks. Now I'm going to have that stuck in my head for the rest of the day. At least it's not Jack Sparrow anymore.
But they play it occasionally on the Jimmy Buffett channel on Sirius XM.
Of course, there's a Jimmy Buffett channel.
Why wouldn't there be? Like, you need to chill and you don't want... Like, I love a wide variety of music, to be off topic, but sometimes you need something that is a certain level of chill so you can enhance your calm.
Yup.
John Spartan.
Sometimes it needs to be done. Trust me. Traffic around here, well, traffic everywhere. If you're not, like, in the middle of nowhere, traffic, I'm sure, can get shit. And it's a good way to chill out. If you're listening to hard and heavy metal, sometimes it's going to enhance that mood. And someone's going to, like, cut you off and you're going to be cursing up a storm. Or you Jimmy Buffett and like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'll fucking get there. It's like my favorite bumper sticker I've seen is, you'll get there. It's like, back off, you'll get there. Like, yep.
Yep.
But yeah, so in closing, like, light important. Just having a flat area to paint. Like,
yeah,
I've painted this desk. I've done folding tables. Like, the right folding table, you may laugh, works.
Yeah.
It's got good space.
Or get like a big like TV tray that you can just prop up in front of your couch if that's where you're painting.
I can't pull it out because my printer's on it, but I have a tray here. We get a bunch of the plastic ones from Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. We use them for everything because we don't have a lot of, like, a kitchen table or anything. We've got a folding table that we sit in front of the TV, and then people will be on the couches and they'll grab little trays for their own stuff.
Yep.
Whether it be for eating or for role playing.
Yep.
It's there's a bunch of not even expensive things out there that can really enhance your quality of hobbying. But it's just a matter of sitting there and a little bit of planning, a little bit of notes will go a long way. One thing I say is, since I've, had to do what I do now, attention to detail has helped me a lot, and I've gotten a lot better. You'll notice little things. You taking notes, like I said, taking notes of things you need, and then looking at it when you go buy stuff, like, nah, I don't need this. And then next time you need it, just put a check next to it. Use the same list. So, like, this thing's got like 4 checks next to it. I have to get this thing.
All right, I gotta ask, where does everybody stand on brushes?
Oh.
Because name brand brushes are not necessarily going to be the best choice for you. I get like chibi brushes from Amazon, and I swear that they last longer than my Army Painter ones.
All due respect to the wonderful company that is Army Painter.
Yes.
The brushes are fucking shit.
Yes.
I still buy them because they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But they are cheap and you're getting what you pay for.
Yes.
Occasionally you'll find one that lasts a while, but they're tipped. Like, I bought one of their... Got a pencil case. Paper brushes, too. I bought one of their Wargamer Kalinsky Masterclass, and it is the worst brush purchase I've ever made in my fucking life. The tip did not hold for long at all. It died quickly and has now become my brush I use for
Bullshit.
ceiling models because you don't need to be super careful with that, and I do it by hand. So
Yeah, like
Xenoboy, that's great. If you're bad with brushes, choose the cheap ones. Go on Amazon. Sure, you're getting 100 brushes for $10. They're crap, but
yeah,
they're cheap.
like the Dick Blick is a art supply store. Everybody laughs every time I say it. I
Yeah.
grew up with
I
it
know
in
about it for
I grew
years.
up with it in my hometown, so I just never thought about it that way.
You,
But yeah, no,
you
Blick.
try having to talk about them on the phone for work to people. You get over the laughing real quick on that.
Yeah, but their Scholastic Wonder White brushes are really, really nice. They're cheap. You can get them in packs. Like, I think mine went up to a size 8, which I only really ever use for like large projects, but zero to 8 size, and you can get a pack for like $10 or $15. And they make great wash brushes, especially at least in my opinion, because I can see what color I'm picking up.
Mm-hmm. And I will also say though, on the note of expensive brushes, I have one Winsor Newton Series 7, and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
I
I'm
only
using.
break it out for special occasions because I can't afford to keep replacing them if I'm a little rough on them. Yeah, it's brushes are one of the things you're going to have to figure out for yourself what works and what doesn't. If you're buying an army painter and it's holding a tip, just keep going.
Yeah, like if they work for you, great.
GW is actually solid quality for the price even. Like GW's always been right there. I prefer their older stuff, but the newer ones have been pretty good, so.
I think I've only ever tried Citadel dry brushes.
I miss them in their old dry brushes, but I mean, remember, I worked for Games Workshop for 9.5 years, so
Yeah.
when they got rid of they went from red to blue for the brushes, they were just giving away the old ones, and I'm like, gone through them all in the years since, but actually I still have a couple, but I buy all sorts of brushes. I try them all out. Reaper brushes, they're okay.
Yeah.
Monument, they're okay. It's just that none of them, now part of it's probably my ass, but none of them really hold a tip super well. So, except for that Winsor Newton, that thing. But then again, I take extra care of it, and that's another thing. Taking care of your brushes and brush soap, important if you're spending any amount of money on there. If you're just buying the Amazon ones, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Cookie Mandy asks, how many airbrushes are too many before I become the crazy airbrush guy asking for a friend? I don't know because I've still not set up my airbrush. It's on the list, but
I have 2 airbrushes. I have one that I use for primarily that is like priming or like quick base coats. And then I have one that I use for like details or, that nature. So I only have 2 airbrushes.
I have one, and I still have yet to use it. I found mine at a bin store for $7 and looked it up on Amazon. It was originally like an $80 airbrush, and I was like, "Yes, mine."
During like every year during the birthday of Mike, whoever made Micromark, they do a sale. Not Micromark, it's of the guys who make the airbrush. I forget the name, but they do a sale, and I got mine through Micromark on their sale, and it was just like, it's still in the box. Gonna put it together. Just haven't yet. You have 12 airbrushes. That's, I mean, if you used to airbrushing as, a job, I understand that. That might be too many, but if you use multiple, I mean, it depends how many you use them. If it's each one's got a different purpose. Be like saying, like, I have 12 different brushes. Like, oh, yeah, I have more than 12 brushes. Fuck yeah. I can see that. Most of it's, because I don't want to have the tip fail when I really need it and not have a backup. And that's a good note. You should always have either that brush that is your backup and is always good, and if it fails, you're going to have to replace it immediately. Or just have, like, hey, I got a brand new brush here. Haven't opened it yet. When I need another tip, there we go. It'll work. It'll work for a couple at least. But, yeah, where you put those is important. It's another downside. I don't know if the Army Painter triangular brushes is better or worse for a grip than the circular one. I haven't done a study. Someone sure knows. Yeah, I bet James Waffle knows. If I had to put money, he would know.
Oh yeah, he would know.
I should put that in. I'm gonna jump into the stream with someone and ask him which one's better because I don't know, and I buy a lot of them, and I'm not sure if I should change. I can't make a scientific test of it, so gonna have to ask someone who knows. Anything we didn't? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty we didn't cover. Anything inherently we didn't cover?
Oh, don't do what I did. If you have a place where you store your paint that is not temperature controlled, don't do it. Keep them in a temperature controlled place, or at least for the long term, store them in a temperature controlled place.
Yes. But also, let me say that you can buy a cheap cooler bag and store them in that, and it'll help a lot. Like if you don't have if you have a small amount of paints because you're just really tight, you're only painting a couple of things in a similar scheme, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
That bag is great. I used to store all my paints in there, and like it doesn't matter. Like it just enough temperature control that as long as you're not leaving it in the car in the sunlight all day,
or in the garage during a blizzard.
Yes. It'll keep them good long enough for you to go, oh crap, I gotta grab those.
Yeah.
So worth thinking about.
I keep looking at mini fridges and thinking about like setting those to like a slightly more like room temperature setting, and then just storing my paints in that. But that's a little excessive.
Well, it depends. If you can do not room temperature, you can do a little cooler than room temperature. That'd be great for like a couple bottles of water. Also, when you don't have to go. I mean, that's another thing. Like, I've thought of putting a mini fridge under one of these things so I can just have, not room temperature water at times.
Mm-hmm.
But it's frivolous. But if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not going to knock it. It is definitely worth considering. So those attention to detail things, think about it. I think Gonzo told us it's about time for media section.
Well, I mean, I looked over and it was 7:57, and I was like, you know what? I am not going to get started on another color. I mean, I got almost the whole thing block colored out. Just got to start doing detail shading and highlighting. So I was like, that was, quality paint time, and that was only like, 40 or so minutes.
It's enough for a hobby streak.
Yep. That's what I need to do. Is I need to start doing just a little bit at a time. Doing just a little bit at a time.
You know what else we need to do? We need to pass the paint water.
Oh, we haven't done that in a while, too. Yeah, we need another pass the paint water. Yeah, that's another one of our Patreon only or subscriber only type things.
Just just don't try on a Wednesday. Wednesday doesn't work unless you want to start late. Well, late for me, and that's late for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to figure out another one. That was actually pretty fun because that's yeah, we're waiting for Mizzy because Mizzy had moved. So everybody doesn't know pass the paint water is.
You're gonna blame Mizzy on that. I see how it is.
Well, yeah, and it's just us four getting together, bullshitting about random shit, and painting and hobbying and hanging out.
Yeah.
But it's only for our, subscribers. We do release episode on our Patreon and in the subscriber only area on Discord. Carl Weathers Marathon.
So, Xandervold, you joke about that, but I actually do want to rewatch all the Rocky movies. Oh, okay, I'll be honest. Watch all the Rocky movies, rewatching a couple of them, and then into the Creed movies. I think that'd be a great, I just need to get my ass together and do it.
I've only ever seen Rocky.
I've seen Rocky, most of 2, part of 3, all of 4, no on 5.
Happy Gilmore, that?
Oh, Cookie, we'll talk about Carl Weathers in a moment. Don't worry. Yeah, he was the trainer.
Yep.
That's
Chubbs.
Right.
Chubbs.
That's right. He was Chubbs. That's what that reference was when somebody said Chubbs died, and I'm just like, who's the heck is Chubbs?
Adam Sandler had a really touching tribute to him too.
I'm sure he did.
Everyone did. It was. I mean, he was great too. Well, again, more of that in a moment as we get in the media section where Gonza has like 47 things, Nerd has 2 or 3, and I have 3.
Before I start talking
you are
about
not wrong.
movies and our media things, I wanted to bring up something, and it came up in the pre-ramble, and it reminded me that I've been watching a few episodes of, I think it's Griselda. It's a Netflix show
Oh,
about.
how is that?
It's okay. Just not my cup of tea, really. But it's based in like the mid to late 70s. And so I was interesting. It was very interesting to watch it because they're on a flight in the 70s and someone's smoking in the, cabin of the airplane. And I'm like, yep. You flash everywhere. Everybody was smoking everywhere. Smoking in their bedroom, smoking down there, smoking on the plane, smoking in restaurants. And that got me thinking. I was like, I remember when you used to go to ask for a place to sit at a restaurant, they would ask you smoking or non-smoking section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
it wasn't
Bob
that long
Evans
ago.
did the big thing where they had the smoking section sectioned off from everyone too.
Yeah.
Hmm?
And I was like, it got me, and like everybody's smoking in this movie because everybody smoked, in the 70s and such, and it was everywhere. It was like, oh, I'm sitting in the doctor's office smoking at the doctor's. I mean, it was just like everybody
look at
was
Mad
smoking.
Men.
Oh yeah,
Same way.
yeah,
It's accurate.
yeah.
People look like, oh, it's not like that. No, it was like that.
Yeah. It's just
Smoking on airplanes.
Yeah.
which was kind of
When
weird.
you get in an old airplane that got ashtrays, you're like, what is this? Dude, that's an ashtray. It's like, you can't smoke on an airplane. That's where the no smoking sign exists.
Yeah.
Because you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it came up, and it was just watching the show, and you're like, yeah, this is the 70s. It is very much relevant to all the smoking, and now you see like maybe one person smoking in a TV show, if that, and if they do, there is if anybody's smoking in a TV show now, there's like a warning: smoking, or
Well, they have to do by law because the tobacco companies got away with too much shit for too long.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like, yeah, that shit was
like
all
I
the time.
actually noted when I was at the dash-in that the big sign above it says, tobacco companies add extra nicotine to make sure that it's addictive to your cigarettes. And I'm like, we've come a long way.
Oh yeah,
which is extra funny because that's a old smoking slogan from a smoking ad.
Yeah.
Here for you.
But I wanted to bring that up because it was just kind of, it was an epiphany of watching this and everybody smoking everywhere. And now it's like that one little section outside at work type thing. So
in the cold.
Or far away. So one of the things I did watch and got to, I'm still not giving it a rating yet. Episode 3 of Masters of the Air came out. This was a damn good episode. I don't remember the air run and the raid that they went on, but this was a very, very good episode, and it is starting to kick off really well. The next episode, I'm like, yes. There's like people that are down behind enemy lines, people that,
People are telling me it's supposed to end up being like Band of Brothers just for, the U.S. Army Air Corps, so that sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, episode 1 and 2 were okay. They weren't bad. And then all of a sudden, episode 3, and you're like, shit, yeah, this is good. This is fun. And now there's none of that weird voiceover stuff anymore. It's now about the characters and about the people and, about whoever, and all this stuff is happening. And I enjoyed the shit out of it. I can't wait for episode 3 or episode 4. It's, looks to be really, really good. Like I said, there's somebody that's behind enemy lines. There's, different things that are happening. So can't wait for it. John?
I watched Action Jackson.
Yeah,
buddy.
Is one
of Carl Weathers' few headlining leading roles. I can tell you to start off why he didn't get too many more, and it's not his fault. This movie is R for the only reason is they have Vanity and Sharon Stone when they were both trying to make it big, so they got to show them both off naked.
Oh yeah.
That is literally it. The action's not bloody. It is literally the epitome of a PG movie that they just added some TNA to make it rated R, and that's a mistake. Because Carl Weathers has charisma to spare. He's great. He has Cookie Mandis. You tore his arm off. He had his spare. The one-liners are terrible for this through most of the movie. But being an 80s action movie, it totally fits. It's Carl Weathers plays Jericho Jackson, who's got a law degree from Harvard, high school track star, but now he's a police officer, and And the whole thing is a big, just standard police drama. Well, a drama action movie. He's up against Coach. My brain's not gonna let me tell you the name. The guy from
Craig
Coach,
Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson. Yes, thank you. And he plays a great bad guy. They're both hamming it up. They both know what movie they're in. Young Sharon Stone in it is great. Her and Carl Weathers have great chemistry together, and I'm kind of upset that they kill her off part of the way through the movie and change the love interest. Well, never was a love interest for Sharon Stone, but make the love interest Vanity, who could not act her way out of a wet paper bag.
Who is Vanity?
Oh boy. She was supposed to be pop star, Prince founder. They were going to make her a big deal. She was in a bunch of movies and didn't really. So for those of you who've seen Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, if you haven't, why the hell not?
Oh.
Same person, and she somehow has worse songs to sing and acts worse in this than she did in that. Like, she's not like super cringe, but you're like, fucking Christ. Her and Carl Weathers have decent chemistry, but not even half the chemistry that him and Sharon Stone did. It was much more interesting. But it's a fun little action movie. It's got a whole ton of people that you've seen. It's got a bunch of people that he worked in Predator with. It's got Sonny Latham, who played the Indian in it in there. It's got Bill Duke in it. It's really great. It's got a bunch of I recognize that guys, and it's just a fun action movie. It's
lots
not
of good
for kids.
character actors.
Yeah, lots of good character actors. They're all playing their part. It's enjoyable. That's all I can say, but enjoyable. It's not great. It's enjoyable. The podcast listened to what's the name? Junk Food Cinema did an episode on it a couple years ago. Actually, at this point, more than a couple years, many years ago. And it was funny because it's like their 200th episode or something. So I listened to that again also after I watched it. And it's just worth it. I have it on a 3-pack. I don't know if you can stream it anywhere. You can take a look for that. But, I got it in a 3-pack with 2 other action movies. I love those little collections on DVD. I'm going to give it 1.5. Probably should be 2, but, 1.5 because Carl Weathers is just enjoyable to watch in it. And every character actor and every little character they put in the movie shows up again multiple times. It's got Biff Tannen in it, too, as a police officer. It's kind of funny. So there you go, Action Jackson. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. You deserved more roles than you got. Nerd?
Speaking of action movies, I watched the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh.
That's on Amazon Prime.
The TV show, the show? Yeah, okay.
Oh, the show. Duh. Not the remake of the movie that they turned into a show. There we go.
See, it's more like a reimagining based on what they did there.
Reimagining, thank you. Yes,
which is cool.
Reimagining. Yes.
I have no problem with reimaginings.
Yeah, I'm only a couple episodes in. I'm enjoying it so far. Love Donald Glover.
He's so good in everything.
He is. And Maya Erskine, who I'd never seen in anything before, playing his wife, she's fantastic. Good. Absolutely fantastic in this. And I look forward to continuing it. But so far, I give it 1.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my list too.
So.
Looks interesting.
Yeah, he's good stuff.
And I really enjoyed the Brad Pitt Angelina Jolie movie. It was enjoyable.
I did too. I went into this not expecting it to be that. Like, the trailers made it very obvious that's not the route they're going. They're going a lot more heavy into like the therapy side of things.
Well, you can do more with the series. That's why I love the series over movies in some cases.
Exploring their relationship a lot more. It's not just action scene with some, relationship stuff. No, it's focusing more on the 2 main characters.
And as I said with Roadhouse trailer last week, I am here for the reimagining of older properties rather than straight remake. Here's the basic idea. We're just taking a different direction. That's great. Love it. Gonzo, I think you're up again.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to one of the things that Xander was talking about, teen smoking and stuff like that during the time. But what really kicked off or made me laugh more than anything is the vending machine that had cigarettes in them. and you put like $1 in quarters and can get a pack of cigarettes or, 75 cents. That was like, that's the epitome of that time. You want a pack of cigarettes? Yeah, you can be 5-year-old as long as you can put the quarters in there.
Yeah.
And Xander was talking about a series called Space Above and Beyond. I actually looked that up to see some of the actors, and yeah, that was a show that was cut down before its time.
It's one of those ones on the list, and funny how most of them are science fiction series.
Yeah.
But yeah, it deserved better than it got, and should have been longer.
Yeah. Next thing I watched, it was a cartoon on Netflix, Orion
So we
and
call
the
those
Dark.
animation now.
It's cartoon. And it's about a kid that is afraid of everything. And, I mean, you name it. He even spends, the first 10 minutes of the episode describing everything he's afraid of and why he's afraid of it and so on and so forth. And he has a problem going to sleep because he's afraid of the dark. And the dark is actually a entity with a brain and a voice, and the dark flies through the air to make dark while light shines around the other end. They kind of chase each other around, and Dark has a bunch of friends that help him along the line. And you think the show is about, the kid getting over his fear of being afraid of everything. And that's what it kind of is for a little bit. And then it just goes off the rails, and it's like someone decided to remove the plot halfway through the show and forget about it completely. And, it's about, him losing his fear of everything, sitting by the girl, taking a chance on being and it just goes, I mean, there's actually time traveling in this at one point. And I'm like, this show just goes way, way off the deep end and way out of the area.
What show is this again?
Orion and the Dark.
Okay.
And it just, it's like they wanted to make a movie and wanted to do something cool. And then they were like, let's just add time traveling into this. Let's add, the future, the past, and let's just go all this other stuff. And you're just like, the fuck? What? And by the time you're done watching it, you're just like, that made no fucking sense whatsoever and really was trash.
Would not be the first time I watched a movie that made no fucking sense.
Well, yeah.
Hashtag cats.
Yeah. I was just like...
I tried to talk my roommate into watching Cats.
Why would you do that? Do you hate them?
It's mean.
I told her she didn't have to be sober.
It's cruel and unusual punishment.
That would probably make it better.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the animation. It's kind of like a clay animation style. But it just wasn't good. The plot was all over the place. Acting, voice acting was fine. It's just like, where the hell are y'all going with this? This is not good. I mean, it gets like a 3.5 to 4 type thing. It was just, man, I was really upset with that because I thought it was going to be, about this kid doing stuff. So, no, I do not recommend. Pass, go somewhere else, get away from it, go where everything else is. Find something different, just not good. John?
I finished Echo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start with the bad because there's not a lot of it. I don't feel like it stuck the landing fully.
Okay.
It felt a little rushed in the end, and there's a couple parts that don't make any sense, and some of you sort of have to fill in yourself. For example, Kingpin's motivation at the end. It seems like he comes in, he does his thing in a certain way, and then the ending is a different way. You're like, the fuck? This is like a complete change from what you were doing previously.
Yep. I agree with that.
And you can read into it that he's a lying, self-serving piece of shit, which I think is what you should be reading into it.
Yeah.
But you have to read into it. There's not even, it's not even like it's subtle. It's like there's fucking nothing. It's all left for you to decide, which I think is a disservice in this kind of series. Aside from those two minor things, the series is great. I enjoyed it. I enjoy how she's badass, but not like the baddest badass who ever did badass. Because there can't be, everyone can't be that. She has trouble taking on more than a couple guys at once. I thought a couple of the Deus Ex Machina was a little weird, but not terrible. but it's also parts that are really heartfelt, and I thought it was a good story. And from what I understand, it is very respectful to the culture, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
I think overall I'd give it 1.5. Seems about right. Definitely worth watching. All the episodes came at once. None of them are too long. The last episode's a little shorter than the rest, and sort of like what I said, I feel like I could have used one more episode and fleshed out the ending of the story, but it's not like it was like unsatisfying. So, it's sort of a smaller story that involves bigger characters and does that pretty well.
Yep.
Nerd?
I watched something that I had actively avoided watching for years, and my roommate talked me into watching it. That was actually better than I expected. The Prince of Egypt, because biblical stories aren't normally my bag.
The animated
So, yeah, yeah, the animated one. It. I had a little bit of a hard time believing Val Kilmer as Moses. So that sort of suspension of disbelief, and him also being the voice of God, I was like, maybe. But cast-wise, fantastic. Great animation. The music was beautiful. I see why it's really popular. It is not my kind of movie. It didn't. Maybe I was the wrong. Maybe I just watched it the wrong time. If I'd watched it when I was younger, maybe I would have appreciated it more. But I see why it is very popular. I give it like 2 space heartbeats, because I think what bothered me the most and what was the whitewashing of the characters. John? You got something to say?
No. That's probably one of my biggest gripes. A lot of those things. Also, being an agnostic, I'm not necessarily big on the religious sort of, overtones in some cases, but
Yeah, like my husband was even surprised that I was watching it. I'm just like, I pointed at my roommate and
you got to
blamed
keep
her.
an open mind, though, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, and everybody. I approached it from a musical point of view, because that's what everybody that I had talked to about it would bring up, was how good the music was in the movie, which it was. It was really, really well written, beautiful. Topic-wise, not my thing. So, Gonzo?
I finished Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is the remake of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. And they're, trying to cover all the books. One thing I really, really liked about this is the characters that they cast are all kids. They're not 28-year-old trying to be 15 or 17. They're actually 12 and 13-year-olds.
That's one of the things that really got me about Turtles Mutant Mayhem. All the voice actors of the Turtles are actually teenagers.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, and that was what was really good, is there was actual, kids in this. I don't know how well it followed the books, because I've never read the books. I just know about the series type thing. Lance Reddick, I said, previously, he plays Zeus, and you only see Zeus in the final episode. And he was really, really good in that, too. I mean, his voice is just so iconic type thing. And whenever he was in there, and of course, they dedicated the entire season to him. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good fun. The characters were nice and interesting. Nobody was, bad or horrible. Nothing that makes it, stand out. Anything, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I'm sure it's going to get another season, because it was one of the highest watched and viewed TV series on Disney Plus right now.
Good.
Which I'm good, because we need good, nothing that's dark, serious, hardcore, just something that's just good fun.
I like that it hit the right notes, because, we both enjoyed Willow, but it was a little quirky and weird and didn't hit the right notes to everyone. So.
Correct. So, I mean, I enjoyed it. Overall, for the entire season, I give it about a 1. There's a couple of parts in there that, whatever. You can tell they kind of had to, push the story along a little bit more, because that this is a series and they can't just spend, 3 episodes on them in camp type stuff. I'm looking forward to more. It's going to expand and do better. I'm sure they're going to get, like I said, it's going to get renewed. If it doesn't get renewed, I'm going to be very surprised. But I give it 1 Space Harpy. I enjoyed it. So it was a good fun.
Cool.
It does have an after credit scene on the last episode for me that hasn't finished it. And it was actually kind of funny.
Cool.
John?
I'm going to pivot to a video game. I've been playing some demos and stuff. I'm playing a demo of a rogue-like, L-I-K-E, not light, like, with a K, poker game called Balatro. And it's still in demo, and there are tons of streamers playing it. There's tons of videos on YouTube, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very fun. And the demo has a bunch of replayability in it as far as I'm concerned. And then the full version comes out this month, I believe. So, yeah, I've been having fun. They apparently, like last month or something, they had a invitational where they had a bunch of streamers and everyone like challenge, see who could get the most score in one match. And one of the guys I watched, Scoodle, he did like 150 million. And then like the last round of the demo takes like 64,000 to win. So he did 1.5 million or 150 million, and he didn't win. Someone got like 1.9 trillion or something like that.
Holy crap.
And then he found a broke on Steam. Yes, Cookie. He found a broken mechanic where he could. I'm sure they're going to fix it in the full version, but he could get infinite money, and he took that one and did like 400 billion or something like that. That's on, like, you can find a bunch on YouTube. There's a bunch of streamers all watching it, and as a streamer, it's weird to say that I am surprised at how so many streamers are. Not to turn it as a thing, but like the one person who got the big one was very. And I understand she'd been doing it for a while, for like in a long, long stream, but man, it was actually annoying, and I only watched the video because I wanted to see the score. And some of these guys are crazy, but like the game looks great. I'm looking forward to getting the full one. I might actually purchase that. Rack and Slay, the other one I'm looking at, which is the billiards rogue-like. It doesn't come out until later in the year, but I'm almost definitely going to pick this up and enjoying it. I love the whole idea of, since it's random what you get for upgrades and all, it's that whole having to make the most of what they give you, and that's sort of my strategically and tactically what I like. You're like, oh, I got this now, I gotta pivot from what I was gonna do, I gotta do this instead. Wait, I can't just flush my way to victory, god damn it, I gotta play something different. But really, like, if you guys are remotely interested in rogue-like games or poker games, I think
do like both of those.
I think Ricky's Not a Ferret's going to play a bunch of it when it comes out. He's a big poker fan, so definitely check it out. Again, free demo. Give it a shot.
Yay!
I give it 0 actually. Unlike a lot of games, like Rack and Slay, I give a little less because it can occasionally be maddening when things don't go the way it's supposed to go. Like, I don't feel like I should have fired off in that angle after hitting him. This is just all poker stuff. It's like it did exactly what I said it to do. Enjoying that. Nerd.
I'm going to review Has Been Hotel because I finally finished it. I absolutely loved it. I see why you loved the Loser song, Gonzo. That one was really, really good.
It's my favorite song.
Yeah. No, it is definitely the best one in the series. I give it 0 Space Harpies. It is probably one of my favorite that I've come across in a long time. It's very out there. It's like Gonzo said, it's very adult, but at the same time it drills a lot of there's a lot of things that it absolutely nailed in terms of like taking care of your friends, taking care of yourself, seeing the best in people. Like, it has for such an adult show, it has so much heart.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, that one definitely gets a solid 0. I need to watch Hell of a Boss as well.
Yeah, I've actually, I've listened to the soundtrack and the songs quite a few, and Loser is my number one song on there. It is so
Yeah.
good and so horribly, inappropriately good. But yeah, I agree with you. Which we found out that the cast, Angel Dust, Catherine, and like one or two other are coming to one of our local conventions.
I used
I might have to go there.
I used to perform with one of the original Alistairs.
Yeah, so
Voice actors back when it was just a wee little pilot on YouTube.
I have one last thing, and it's a video game.
Okay.
It was on sale and it had been on my wish list. It was on PlayStation, and it's called Gylt, Gylt. And it's a smaller game. It's only like $20. And you can complete it in like 5 or 6 hours type thing. But what it is you play like a 12-year-old girl that is armed with a flashlight and a fire extinguisher and can throw soda cans. And she's tossed into a nightmare world, and she has to go through these puzzles and hide. I mean, you're not like fighting these off, these monsters with things, and some of them you can't, kill or whatever.
So
But
it's normal flashlight, not Commander Adama flashlight.
well, the flashlight does eventually let you kill demons, but you have to like hit them in
That's
certain
right.
spots and stuff like that. But it's not like, there's no guns, no knives, no stuff like that.
Give me a little bit of Little Nightmares vibes.
Oh yeah. And pretty much what it is the story is your cousin went missing and you're trying to find her. It's a story about bullying, is what it is.
Okay.
And your cousin gets dragged into this nightmare world and you have to go and save her. It's not a very long game. Like I said, it's 5 or 6 hours to complete. Cute little story. Nice little animation to it. Nice fun. It's got 3 different endings to it, depending on how you complete the game. There's a shitty ending, a good ending, and a great ending. But it was not bad. It was a little fun. Wasn't hard at all. Easy to complete. Just, and it's more of a stealth game than anything else. Making sure that you're hiding from these monsters because they could kill you in a heartbeat type thing. So, you throw cans of soda to make them go to other parts of the room so you can skulk around and everything. But it was okay. It's got a lot of exploring, so you can go there's a lot of collecting to do in the game, so you can collect a lot of things to change how the story works and goes on and everything. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Very simple, very, artsy, very easy story to follow. But it is, kind of a heartfelt thing where, this kid, one of your cousins moves with you and, she gets bullied and you're having to deal with the aftermath of this, what's going on. But there's a little weird thing, like your town is on top of like a gravesite or something, or this mine, and so there's a little bit of hidden things. But overall, very solid little game. It's only like $20.
Yeah, I just added it to my wish list
Yeah.
on Steam.
Yeah, and it's worth playing. I got my $20 worth out of it. I mean, to play a video game for 6 hours and enjoy it, I'm happy. And it's a small independent company too, so it's not like, a Blizzard or whatever. I got my entertainment value out of my $20.
Guns, I've played Balatro for 28 hours since January 27th.
Yeah. So I mean, I overall I give it like a 1 space RP because there's a few things that are kind of whatever, but overall it was very solid, very fun, very interesting. I like the art style. And it's, you got to make sure that you're being stealthy and quiet and, fuck the raven monsters. Goddamn, those bastards suck ass. But just a solid, good, fun game. And guys, that's it. That's our episode for the day. It is time for us to switch off. We are actually going to send you to Runic Raccoon, which will be working on a Runathon.
I'm actually doing a charity D&D game with him on the 10th. That'll be on Zambi's channel.
Okay.
Got you going everywhere there. You get name dropping everybody.
It's like she's popular or something.
Well, it was originally supposed to happen. It was originally supposed to happen on New Year's, but Zambi's dog unfortunately got sick and passed away. So we rescheduled it, and we're doing it for Valentine's on the 10th. So I am playing a bard that's afraid of cats. So that'll be interesting. Go against my nature. Big kitties.
So, guys, we're going to send you off to Runic Raccoon. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening wherever you're listening. Be tuned into our Facebook page or Instagram and all of our places where we'll be doing some updates and some information. But like we say, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, do something. If you can do something, do it. If you can't, find someone that will, because we need to look after each other. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Nerd.
Good night, folks. Make sure you hit that like on Runic Raccoon.
Yes, everybody loves Runic.
Trying to get more